Most firms brag about how full their sales pipeline is. But here's the truth. Half of what's in the sales funnel is never going to close. It's noise, not signal. And that false confidence is deadly because it makes you think you've got revenue coming that will never land. Today, we'll talk about how to see the pipeline clearly, strip out the dead weight, and finally trust your forecast. I'm Tony Gutierrez, a consulting industry veteran with over 30 years of experience building and leading high-performing firms. I've led global teams, scaled boutique practices, and been responsible for more than $1 billion of consulting wins. I launched the Consulting Edge to help founder-led boutique firms build a business with predictable and premium fee growth. Subscribe to this channel and visit the Resource Vault on my website for free tools and templates. And check the episode description for links to this and other resources, including my free newsletter. If you want to learn more about how we can help you transform your go-to-market engine, book a quick, no-obligation discovery call. No pressure. This is the final episode in the Drive Growth playlist. We've talked about building your growth system, mastering the conversations, asking the right questions, and qualifying ruthlessly. Now it's time to put the spotlight on your pipeline, the one place where discipline either makes or breaks your firm's growth. Because let's be honest, a pipeline that's full of stalled, low quality, or wishful thinking deals isn't a pipeline. It's a mirage. The numbers are brutal. Forrester states 60% of deals are lost to no decision. HubSpot reports 75% of proposals never close. And CSO Insights reports B2B win rates average just 25%. That means 3 out of 4 pursuits leak out of your funnel before the finish line. And here's the kicker. Most of those deals were never real to begin with. They're ghosting you. They're stalled for months with no movement, or they were never qualified in the first place. Yet too many firms treat those deals as if they're money in the bank. They're not. And the consequence, leaders overestimate revenue, miss forecasts, and scramble to fill gaps at the worst possible time. When I took over a large regional consulting practice, the pipeline looked impressive on paper. A record quarter ahead, or so it seemed. But when I dug in, half of those deals were old, underqualified, or pure wishful thinking. The forecast was a mirage. So we reset. We introduced discipline, hard reviews of every stale deal, directors presenting their top pursuits, and defending why each one was real, and looking at deal aging as a hard metric. Anything stuck 90 days without movement was challenged. In the short term, the pipeline shrank. And yes, that was uncomfortable. But here's what happened next. Over 18 months, that discipline produced a 3x growth in the pipeline. This time with real qualified deals. And over 30 months, the practice delivered 50% revenue growth and doubled profitability. That's the power of visibility and discipline. Now, let's talk about how you actually run a pipeline review, because this is where a lot of firms get it wrong. First, I always hear the excuse, we can't run weekly pipeline meetings. They'll take too long. Wrong. I've led large teams and run these meetings in 60 minutes flat, covering a full book of business. The trick is structure. Here's how it works. The weekly pipeline review is not a working session to pick apart every deal. That should be happening separately, director by director. The weekly session is about giving leadership a clear view of pipeline health, spotlighting critical deals, and highlighting resource requirements. It's also a discipline builder, a chance to showcase 1 or 2 deals and model what good looks like for the team. But you have to keep it focused. You need a strong timekeeper and some upfront training so everyone knows the flow. Don't let it devolve into a rambling call. That's no value. What do you cover? Well, let's start with key stats. I used to organize reviews by director with a standard pipeline worksheet published to the whole team. Then we'd look at week-to-week movement. Why is this director's deal aging 30 days longer than the average? Or why is her win rate so much higher than the rest? Or lower? Why does he have no early stage deals feeding the funnel? Those questions spark the right conversations. And I've always found it useful to dive into the largest deals on the sheet and ask just a couple of hard questions. Can you describe the scope in one sentence? What's the next client decision? Why is this a good deal for us? And why will we win? If a director can't answer those questions clearly in the pipeline review, they're going to struggle even more with the client. Deal size and value. Is the potential fee worth the pursuit? ICP fit. Does this align with our niche and expertise? Deal age. Are deals advancing in normal timeframes, or are they stalling? Advancement discipline. Are your team members asking for commitments or accepting continuations? Portfolio balance. Do you have the right mix of short cycle and long cycle deals? Your job as a leader is to insist on discipline and teach your team that a smaller, higher quality pipeline is better than a bloated one full of ghosts. Now, the deeper dive on deal strategy, pricing, prepping questions, that belongs in a weekly sales meeting with each director, not the all-hands pipeline call. But the pipeline call gives visibility. And as I always say, sunlight is a great disinfectant. Visibility has the same effect on your sales process. We also held monthly or quarterly pipeline summits where the entire team could dig into 2 or 3 major pursuits. That was gold for cross-pollinating ideas, sharpening strategies, and yes, cleaning out bad deals that should have been parked long ago. Here's the truth. Sales teams need oversight, just like delivery teams. Without it, deals drift, follow-ups slip, and next steps never get scheduled. With discipline, conversion rates climb. And one last point. You can't run reviews in a vacuum. Pipeline metrics need to live in the context of targets. Measure against goals. Compare top and bottom quartiles, not to punish, but to spot gaps and figure out where leadership can help. Because at the end of the day, these aren't just the director's deals, these are the firm's deals. If there's something leadership can do to accelerate a pursuit or prevent a loss, you need to have that visibility. That's why pipeline reviews aren't extra work. They're part of the sales process. The strategy work and the prep have to be done anyway. The review just makes it visible. And that visibility is what keeps the whole system healthy. When you strip out the noise, you don't just get clarity, you create the conditions for explosive, sustainable growth. For founders and leaders of boutique firms, pipeline discipline isn't just about reporting, it's about coaching. This is the 5th and final episode in our Drive Growth playlist. Together we've covered building a growth system, running the 4 critical conversations, asking the 7 questions that shift deals, qualifying hard and losing fast, and today, pipeline visibility and discipline. If you master these 5 gears, your firm won't just chase growth. You'll drive it with predictability, discipline, and confidence. To help you put this into action, I created the pipeline review and deal debrief templates. They'll give you a structured way to run weekly pipeline reviews that cut through the noise, track deal aging and stage velocity, debrief wins and losses so you can keep improving every pursuit. You'll find them in the resource vault on my website and linked in the description. The edge belongs to those who claim it. I'm Tony Gutierrez, and this is the Consulting Edge. See you next time.